Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyaptatehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. So, we are doing Drg Drashya Viveka. Last time we were up to verse number 12, and so far the text delineated Tvam Pada, and now onwards the text is going to focus on Tat Pada. What is this Tvam Pada and Tat Pada? Tvam Pada and Tat Pada are the words which are derived from this Mahavakya called Tat Tvam Asi. That thou art, you are that. The individual who looks upon himself as Jiva, as an individual, is told by the scriptures that you are Brahman or Ishvara, the limitless, which you are seeking to be. You are already that. Limitlessness is a fact about you. So, Tat Tvam Asi. That means limitless Brahman, and Tvam means you. Tvam means you, and Tat means that. That means Brahman. You are already that. So Tvam Pada means individual. Tvam Pada refers to individual, and Tat Pada refers to Ishvara or Brahman. So far, in all these verses beginning from 1 to 12, we have been discussing Tvam Pada. Tvam Pada means the individual, and in different ways the author showed the separation made us do the Viveka between Drg and Drashya. The author showed us that the entire complex called body, mind, intellect, prana, etc., all of that falls in the category of Drashya, falls in the category of object or the seen. And who is the seer? Seer is consciousness or Sakshi. So, in this one complex, there are actually two. One is the inert, which is body, mind, intellect, etc., and there is consciousness also over here. So when I say I am so and so, I am a woman, I am a man, there I belongs to consciousness, which is the seer, the Drg, the Drashta, the seer, and the woman part, the man part, or the body part, intellect part, mind part, all of that belongs to the matter, to the object. So, this separation was so far focused upon by the text. And then in the last verse, the author said that the subtle body is inert, and that subtle body is the one which is really the cause for the mind as well as the ego. So far, in short, the Tvam Pada was delineated. Now, the text focuses its attention upon Tatpada. Tatpada means Ishvara. There are two things in this creation, I and you. I means here not consciousness. I, when I say I and you, by I here at this point, I don't refer to consciousness, the seer, but I refer to this individual, and by you, what I mean is the totality, the rest of the world. So I transact with the world, and everything in this creation that is there, beginning from air, fire, space, earth, everything, all of that is referred by me as you, as world, and there is this individual. So now the text will focus its attention upon the Tatpada, or the creation, or the totality. So let us now get into that. So let us read verse number 13. Because the individual part is discussed, there is still the creation part. So that also has to be shown, and the cause of this, the cause of the creation is also to be explained, because the question always remains in our mind as to how did this creation come about. If there is only consciousness, consciousness is the reality, and it is non-negatable reality, abaditam satyam. Then what about the creation? Does creation enjoy the same kind of reality as consciousness? No. Creation is something which can be negated. So to show all this, that how creation came about, all this has to be shown, because unless and until we have certain questions about creation, and if they are not answered to our satisfaction, unless we come to know the secret of this creation, mind will not be satisfied, mind will not become quiet, and so all this also has to be addressed. So now that is what the text is doing from verse number 13. I am reading the verse. Shaktidvayam hi mayayaha vikshepavrutirupakam vikshepa shakti lingadi brahmandantam jagat srujet. So what does the author say? That Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha vikshepa avruti rupakam. Now we come, this verse introduces us to the word called Maya. So here the author says that the Maya has twofold powers, or Maya is also twofold. Maya means what? The creative power of Ishvara. We will be going into the length of all this, but to suffice at the moment, Maya is the creative power of Ishvara, and this power too is twofold. Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha. Maya has, as it were, two kinds of powers. Which are they? Then it is said in the verse, vikshepa avruti rupakam. They are twofold. And which is that vikshepa? One is vikshepa and other one is avruti. They are in the form of vikshepa and avruti rupakam, means in the form of vikshep and avruti. Now what is this vikshepa and avruti? Let me just translate it here for you. We will go into the details. Vikshepa means projecting power, and the avruti means concealing power. Avruti means it conceals something, and vikshepa means it projects. So Maya, the creative power of Ishvara, is twofold, which is that concealing power, avruti, and Vikshepa. Because even though here Vikshepa is put first and Avrutti is put second, but in reality, which comes first, do you know? Avrutti comes first and then comes Vikshepa. So, but here because of the meter, because of the chanda, because of the meter, author has put, to facilitate in that, author has put Vikshepa first, but actually Avrutti should be first. And the second reason is that what we see first, which power of Maya do we see first? What we see is the projecting power, and from that we infer the Avrutti power, concealing power. We don't see Maya concealing something, but what we see is projection. What we see is creation. From that we infer the presence of the concealing power. For these two reasons, one is for the meter and second is what we see first. What we see first is the Vikshepa part, the projecting part, and that is why for these two reasons, namely the verse has put Vikshepa first and Avrutti second, but actually fundamentally or truly speaking it should have been Avrutti first and Vikshepa second. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Then these are the two powers. Maya is twofold, which one is concealing power, other is Avrutti power, Vikshepa power, concealing and then projecting. Then what does the second line say? Vikshepa Shaktihi Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srujet. See, it doesn't say what Avrutti does. Avrutti means conceals, but the creation is done by, creation is projected by Vikshepa Shakti. Vikshepa Shakti means projecting power. What does it do? So second line says Vikshepa Shaktihi, this power of Maya, projecting power of Maya, what does it do? Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srujet. Srujet, it creates, let us say it projects, it creates or projects what? Beginning from Lingadi to Brahmandantam Jagat. It projects the world beginning from Linga Sharira to the entire Brahmanda. Follow? So far, Vikshepa Shakti does these two things. It projects. And what all comes within the scope of the projecting power? What all is created? Then, what is created? Lingadi. So, beginning from Linga Sharira. We have already discussed Linga Sharira. Linga Sharira is what we just saw in verse number 12. The discussion that we did last time. Linga Sharira means subtle body. It is this subtle body which is the cause of transmigration of Jiva. Because it is this subtle body where avidya is, ignorance is, and because of that body, subtle body, and subtle body is already we have seen something which receives the reflection of consciousness. So, moment subtle body is there and consciousness is there, then what happens? Sahaja Tadatmya. Sahaja Tadatmya means consciousness will get reflected in the subtle body, and then what will happen? Consciousness then thinks that I am of the size of this mind, I am of the size of this intellect, which means I am as good as mind. Consciousness measures itself according to the subtle body, and that is Jiva. What we call Jiva is nothing but consciousness thinking that I am this. Just as sun in the sky, looking at its reflection in the bucket of water, thinks I am here, I am so small. Similarly, consciousness identifying with the subtle body becomes Jiva. So, this is what subtle body did. So, the question last time arose as to how did this subtle body come about? How did it come about? So we said because of ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance of my true nature. Ignorance that I am consciousness, I am Brahman, I am limitless, I don't know, I forgot this, and therefore I thought, I took myself to be this jiva, to be this subtle body. So this is what ignorance does. It first creates subtle body at the individual level, and at the total level it creates this entire creation, Brahmanda. So Lingadi, beginning from Lingadi to Brahmanda, individual to total. Vyashti means individual and Samashti means total. Actually, in totality, that is the entire creation, individual is included. It is not separate. But when I refer to myself as I, then I look upon the world as different from me, and there is subject and object. That is why author says both of them are created. He could very well have said that Vikshepa Shakti projects the entire creation. He need not have bifurcated them into two, individual and total. Arey, what is total other from individual? Because everybody look upon themselves as individual. So totality is not away from totality is not different from individuality, because in totality individuality is included, but still makes it a point to say that Vikshepa Shakti created this too. What? Individual, that is subtle body, and then at the total level, what? Brahmanda. Brahmanda means this cosmos, this huge cosmos. All of that is created by the Vikshepa power, by the projecting power of Maya. And Srujet, it says, it created, where the meaning of this word is not creating in reality. What is it? Projecting. It projects, it imagines. There is no real creation. We will see now this. So, this is the translation. Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha vikshepa avruti rupakam. Of the Maya, these are two, it has twofold Shakti, twofold powers of Maya. Which are they? They are Vikshepa and Avruti. Avruti means concealing and Vikshepa means projecting. Okay. Then what does this? Having concealed the true nature, then Vikshepa, what does it do? Vikshepa power, what does it do? It creates this world, the individual as well as the total. So this is done. Now let us look into the verse in detail. So, let us begin with Maya. Maya means what? Maya means projecting, Maya means magic. To put it in simple words, it is nothing but magic of the magician. Magician with his magical power shows so many things. In reality, they are not there. There may be just a piece of paper, but magician can make us look at it as currency. He can make us think that this is dollar or this is a rupee note. He can do that hypnotism upon us, and that is called magic. There is no real world but magic. So Maya is equivalent to magic. Okay, and this magic of Bhagavan, magic of Ishvara, magic of Brahman. See, Brahman is Nirguna, Nirakara. It has no qualities, it has no form, it has no shape, nothing. Then how will it create? If we look at Brahman from its Swarupa, then creation is not possible. It is full, it is complete, limitless, nirguna, nirakara, it has no desires. Then how did this creation come about? We cannot explain. So what do they say? That if the creation is to be explained, then there is only one way that it can be explained, and that is by adding the factor called Maya. By adding, listen to my words carefully, by adding the factor called Maya. What is this Maya? As I said, like the magical power of the magician. He can show things which are not there. Similarly, with the help of this Maya power, Maya itself is power. With that, Ishvara creates this world. Okay, and that is twofold. Twofold means it is, yes, twofold means it has two parts, two aspects. Which are they? First is concealing aspect and the other one is projecting aspect. Now let us go to the example of rope and snake. We have this example of rope and snake. Now see, it is in a peculiar condition that rope is taken to be snake. This also we have to understand very well, because in that we will understand what is called avrutti and what is called vikshepa. Okay. When is snake projected upon rope? Tell me. Rope is rope. Why should it be looked upon as snake? But we do make a mistake. In reality, the object which is lying before me is rope. But still, it often happens that we look upon it as snake, or as a garland, or as a crack in the earth, something or the other, depends. But some projection we often make. How come? Yes, now we should know what are the conditions, or when do we when is rope looked upon as snake? In short, when is this projection taking place? There is a peculiar condition when this projection takes place. Let us see what it is. See, in the broad daylight, if there is an object lying before me, and since it is very well lighted, then I see the object very well. I know the general aspect of the object which is lying before me, plus I also know its peculiar aspect also, its Vishesha aspect also. The Samanya Roop of the object also I know, and I also know the Vishesha Rupa of that object. What is that object? Rope. I know that some object is there and it is rope. Samanya Jnana, I see these two conditions, these two things should be there. That an object is lying there, plus what it is, that I don't miss. In full light, I see the object, plus I clearly see what that object is. Then no projection happens. Follow? So when you have the Samanya Jnana, general knowledge of that object, plus you have Vishesha knowledge, particular aspect of that object also, then there is no projection. Rope is taken as rope. Understood? No projection. Okay. Now we go to the second possibility. If there is dark, if it is pitch darkness, you don't see anything. Supposing it is pitch darkness, no street lights, nothing, and you are passing from a forest. Then what happens? Do you see anything? No. You don't see any object. So where is the question of taking it to be something other than what it is? It doesn't happen. So in full darkness also, when you don't know the Samanyan general aspect of the object, and you don't know even the Vishesha aspect, the particular aspect of the object also, then also there is no projection. In short, when it is fully lighted, no projection. When it is totally dark, no projection. But there is a peculiar condition, peculiar situation. What? That it is partially lighted. In a time such as sunset time or dawn time, early morning time, when it is not fully lighted, sun has not yet come fully, or in the evening when sun is setting, when sun is almost set. So you do see something, you see an object. Understand this very well. You see an object, but you do not see it clearly. You definitely see an object, that there is something lying before me, but you didn't see it clearly. And so what happened? You projected snake. You didn't do it deliberately, but you mistook the object called rope to be snake. So what does this concealing power did? It concealed the reality of the rope. It concealed the real aspect of the rope and made you project snake. So concealing is one thing and projecting is another. If the rope was concealed, okay, you did not see, nothing happened. But no, the rope's real aspect, you did see something, but you did not see it clearly. So the real aspect was concealed, and that was done by avrutti part, concealing power, and at the same time, what happened? The vikshepa power enabled you to look upon that object differently. You did not see the rope as rope, but you took it to be snake. Had you not seen the object completely, there would have been no projection. Had you seen it completely, clearly, no projection. But you saw something definitely, but you did not see for what it is. Follow? And that is the condition which is what shall we say, which has all the aspects for projection. It is in such a condition that projection happens. Understood? So concealing and then projecting. Rope, the real aspect of the rope is concealed, not fully concealed. Rope is seen, but not clearly. Seen means what? Samanya Jnana is there. General aspect of that object is that yes, there is some object. But the Vishesha aspect, the particular Swarupa or nature of that object is not seen. And that is why what happens? You project the snake. Now tell me, is the snake there? No. It is nothing but projection. There is not an iota of snake over there. Is it there? What is there? There is nothing but rope. Nothing but rope. Not even this much aspect of snake is there. Yes, but you projected it because the reality of the rope, the real nature of the rope is concealed. So when it is concealed, the general aspect is, when the particular aspect of the object is concealed, but not the Samanya aspect, then projection happens. Understood? Samanya aspect you see, but not the particular aspect, then projection happens. You definitely, this has to be very clear, because it is here, because in the example of rope and snake, it is easy to understand. Then we come back to Atma. Now see the Drishtanta in the Darshtanta, in what is illustrated. Just as you did see an object but did not see it clearly, and that is why you happen to project a snake. Similarly, here you do see I. See means you do say I am a woman, I am a man, I am a human being. Which means what? I, Atma, is experienced. But is experienced as what? What do you conclude about this I? That I am a human being. When you say this is snake, that time is the rope experienced or not? Yes, rope is experienced, but not in its reality. You take the rope to be snake. Similarly, when you say I am an individual, I am human being, I am a man, what happens? Atma, I, is experienced, but as human being. You project human being upon that I. So this two power has worked. The twofold power of Maya is successful. You did see, you say I am a human being, I am a man, woman, I am engineer, I am happy, I am unhappy. When you say I am unhappy, I is experienced. Who is that I? Atma, self. But what do you take it to be unhappy? Had I not been experienced, there would have been no projection. So when you say I am unhappy, when you say I am angry, what happens? You experience Atma and you project anger upon it. When you say I am a woman, you experience Atma, but you take that Atma to be woman. This is projection and this is samsara. You follow? So it is not that I is not experienced. I is always experienced, but the conclusion about that I is wrong. Just as when you say this is snake, rope is definitely experienced, but the conclusion about that object is wrong. In reality, that which is rope is looked upon as snake. Similarly here, I am experienced, but it is taken to be woman, man, angry, mother, father, daughter, what not. So many projections are, then you pile one upon the other and it becomes huge samsara. So many complexes. And behind all these complexes, this I is hidden. I is always there. I is always there. So you don't have to go anywhere to experience Atma. Atma is experienced every moment, but wrongly. Who does that? Who does that? Maya does that. Maya's Maya's twofold power. Similarly, even Bhagavan is experienced. When you say this creation is very good, bad, etc. Who is experienced? Who is experienced? I, God, Tat Pada is experienced, but you project creation upon that. So this is called the projecting power of Maya. And what does it project? It projects Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srujet. It projects what? It projects at the individual level Sukshma Sharira, and at the total level what? Brahmand. Then, so both what we call creation, in that creation that individual is also included, and all of that is nothing but projection. Just as snake is not there at all, what is there is rope. Snake is nothing but pure projection, pure imagination. There is nothing called snake over there. Neither in the beginning nor at the end. You know, no, but I saw the tail of the snake. I saw the hood of the snake. I heard the hissing sound of the snake. What was there? There was, even when you thought that it is a venomous snake full of venom, etc., there is nothing but rope over there. But the projecting power is so effective that we come under the influence of that. But in short, here what is explained is that this entire creation is nothing but projection. Nothing but projection. I'll give you another example for this projection. What is the dream? When we dream, what happens? In the dream, even the individual is created. In the dream also there is I and you. There is one I who is interacting with the world. But what is the nature of that world? What is the nature of that I interacting with the world? Dream world. What is the nature? Both I and the world created in the dream are of what nature? They are nothing but projection. Projected upon what? Projected upon that fellow who is sleeping. He himself projected. He himself projected I and you and carried out the transaction. And as if it was all very, at that time it was all very real. In the dream also he cries, he laughs, he gets angry, he is envious of someone, he really gets depressed, he really feels elated. Everything happens. But does it really happen? Does it happen? Is there any action going on? It looks as if so much is going on. Lives and lives go on in that dream. All 3 generations, 4 generations, everybody is there. Grandfather is there, father is there, grandson is there, all of them are there. But who are they? And of what nature? Moment you wake up, where does it go? Where does it go? From where it came? It was nothing but the projection of the mind. It went back there. You are in your bed. You dreamt of Australia. You dreamt of Himalayas and everything. You were climbing the mountain or what not. When you wake up, are you in Himalayas, climbing the mountain, and that glacier suddenly burst? Then you were swept away. Then you woke up. There is no glacier, no Himalayas, no river, no climbing, nothing. You are very comfortable in your bed. What was that? Nothing but projection. Who did that? In dream our mind projects. See. So this mind is equivalent to Maya at the total level. So dream is very good example for us to understand how we project. Rope and snake example is also best. But in dream we create the entire world. This world is also nothing but a projection like dream. on a vaster scale. Now, dream is on a smaller scale because it is projection of what? Which mind? Projection of individual mind. Whereas this entire creation is projection of Ishvara. Ishvara's mind. And what is that? Maya. Ishvara's mind is called Maya. And our mind is called Manaha. But what they do is the same. So, in short, what is this? Nothing but projection. Who did it? Maya. And how did it do? By first concealing the true nature and then projecting. First it conceals. What it conceals? Who am I? And then, so we have twofold problem. Not only do I not know who I am, but I take myself to be wrongly other than what I am, totally antagonistic to who I am. This is what Maya does. Not only do I not know that I am consciousness, Brahman, limitless, full, adequate, Ananda, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Satchidananda Rupoham. Not only do I not know that, but I take myself to be limited individual, limited in time, limited in space, limited in every way. And then sit and cry, feel unhappy. Hell, what is helplessness? Feeling totally low. You feel you have no self-esteem. There cannot be. Because this body is bound. Mind is bound in so many ways, limited in so many ways. In reality, none of that is true. So this is projecting power, Maya. So it has been said, that Jiva Isho Abhasena Karoti Maya. See, this has been said in Nrsimha Uttara Tapaniya Upanishad. It has been described in this way. What does Maya project? Maya projects not only individual, but he also projects Ishvara. See, in reality there is only Brahman. But who all are projected? Individual is projected and Ishvara is also projected. Ishvara means totality. So, when Brahman, which is Nirguna, Nirakara, the absolute reality, when you don't know that, then this part is projected. So, all this is done by the projecting power called Maya, and this is how it projects, not creates, but projects. What is the nature of this projection? It is called Vivarta. Creation is nothing but, what is creation? When one thing is made to appear different from what it is, that is called creation. Keep this in mind. There is no substantial or concrete creation. Let me give you an example. When you make a pot from a lump of clay, what you have is lump of clay. From that a pot is made. Okay, when that pot is made, the pot maker comes into play, takes this lump of clay and then gives it the shape of a pot. There what happened? The clay, the lump of clay is now no more available as that lump. It is now transformed into this pot. So, what I am trying to say is that there is a change. Lump has changed into pot. So, there is really a transformation, really becoming, clay becoming pot. Okay, clay no more available as clay. Now it is available in the form of pot. Okay, this is called creating. This is becoming. Now supposing, come back to our example. Supposing Brahman or the reality, the truth, became creation in that manner, just as lump became pot. Who converted the lump into the pot? Pot maker. Pot maker came into play because lump is inert. It cannot by itself convert itself into pot. Some sentient being has to be there. And who is that? Pot maker. Pot maker, who is called the efficient cause, the nimitta karana, or the sentient being, takes that material called lump of clay and makes pot out of it. But there is real becoming, real change. Real change is there because now the lump is no more available as that. It has converted itself into pot. Let me give you another example for this real becoming. You curdle the milk into curd. Okay? So, milk has now transformed into curd. Now, no more is milk available. It has become curd. Now, supposing Brahman or the reality or Atma, consciousness, if it converted itself into the world, if it really became the world, then what will happen? Then it will no more be existent, no more be available as Brahman, Nirguna, Nirakar. Why? Because it has now become Saguna, with qualities, with form. There is duality here in creation. There are names and forms and everything. It is no more available as Nirguna. Brahman in reality is called Paramarthik reality. It is Nirguna. It has no qualities, no form, nothing. Then if it really became creation, then what happened? Now no more available as Nirguna. Now Saguna is there. Reality cannot be like this, which changes. So today it has become creation, then tomorrow it may not be there, because if it changes, then there is all the possibility for more change to occur. In that case, day by day it will deplete. Today this much change, then more change and more change, so on and so forth. In short, it will also be limited by time. It may not be there one day. So truth cannot be like that. So what is the text, scriptures telling us? What is the author telling us here? That creation is not really made. Nothing has really happened. Nothing is really transformed. But it appears like that. And that is called appearance. Creation is nothing but an appearance. Even though we call it creation, but what is meant by this creation is appearing differently from what it is. What in reality is Brahman appears as creation. Just as what in reality is rope appears as snake. What in reality is the dreamer sleeping appears as dream world. Follow? That is called appearance, abhasa. No reality, no substantiality, no concreteness. It is nothing but appearance, nothing but projection. And that is called vivarta. Vivarta means that which appears differently from what it really is. That is the nature of creation. So Avruti, what it did, Maya has this twofold powers. One is Avruti. Avruti word, has come from vru, dhatu, verbal root vru. Vru means to conceal, and then prefix a is attached. So avruti, which means what? To conceal very well, to hide very well. Since the thing is hidden, and then what happened? The other power came into picture. Which is that other power? It is called Vikshepa. What does this Vikshepa do? What is meant by Vikshepa? Vividham Karanam, Vividham Bhanam. Vividham, it appears differently from what it really is. It appears variously, diversely. Diverse means how? Diverse means there is an individual, then there is total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so many things. One appears as dual, one appears as many. Who is responsible for that? Who is responsible? This Vikshepa. Vividham Karanam, Vividham Bhanam. That is the power. But that power will work when first which power is there? Avaranam. First it conceals and then projects. Follow? First the rope is concealed from my sight, not totally, partially. And then the ground is ready for taking it to be different from what it is. Had it been completely hidden from my sight in pitch darkness, I would have walked over it. Nothing would have happened. Had it been broad daylight, no problem again. I would have seen the rope, as an innocuous object, and fearlessly I would have walked. But the problem arose when it was what? Dim light, sunset time, manda andhakara. That time I did see something, but my goodness, there is a snake over there. Poor rope is there, but I take it to be snake. So these two things work. First concealment and then projecting. This is how the entire creation is projected. Who is responsible for that? Maya. And even when it is projected, the self, Brahman, is very much there. Just as when you are seeing the dream world, where is the dreamer? One who is sleeping on the bed, where is he? He is very much there. Even when that whole dream world is going on, havoc is created, so many things happen over there. Where is the dreamer? All the while, the dreamer is right there. In fact, it is upon him. In his mind, all this is going on without really anything going on. Even though so many things are happening, nothing is happening. So, similarly, when this world is there, I am there. In reality, who is there? Only Atma, only Brahman. In reality, and every moment, every second, every minute second also, we experience nothing but Brahman, but it is taken to be individual in the world. This is what is happening. This is due to Maya Shakti. Then, same thing is told again in verse number 14. Let us read that verse. Shrishtirnama Brahma Rupe Satchidananda Vastuni Abdo Fenadivat Sarva Nama Rupa Prasarana. Now, the author is saying, what is this Srishti? What is this thing called creation? What is it? So he says, Shrishtir Nama, what you call creation. Shrishti means creation. What you call creation is nothing but Brahma Rupe Satchidananda Vastuni Shrishtir Nama. What you call creation is nothing but projection of names and forms upon the reality called Satchit Ananda. Satchit Ananda means consciousness, then existence, consciousness and happiness. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means existence, Chit means consciousness, and Ananda means happiness. These three are not different. They are not three qualities of one reality. They three mean the same. So Sat, Chit, Anand is the reality. Upon that it is also called Vastu. Vastu means reality. The real thing is nothing but Satchidananda. Upon that Satchidananda Vastuni. Vastuni means upon this. This, which in other words it is Brahma. We call it Brahma, call it Satchidananda, call it Atma. All these are synonyms. All this means the same. Okay. Upon that Shrushtir Nama, this thing called Shrushti, creation, is projected. It is projected. Of what is this projection? It is nothing but names and forms. Upon this Brahman, which is one, without a second, without a form, without qualities, upon that diverse names and forms are projected, and that is known as Shrushti or creation. Then in the next line an example is given to help us understand what is this, what kind of projection is this. So it says in the second line, Abdo Fenadivat Sarva Nama Rupa Prasarana. Just as Abdo, Abdo means upon water, upon ocean. In ocean, in reality there is nothing but water. What is that thing? Nothing but H2O, nothing but water in the ocean. But what do you project and what do you see over there? You see foam, you see bubbles, you see ripples, you see waves, small and big, and storms and what not. What are they? Take a wave and see what it is. Nothing but water. Take a foam, take a ripple, take big waves, tsunami also. Look into that. What is that? Nothing but water. It is nothing but water in the form of so many waves, so big form and ripples and everything. So Abdo Fenadivat, just as on water, Fenadi, Fena, etc. Fena means form, etc. are seen. Similarly, on Brahman, upon this Satchidananda, this Nama Rupa Prasarana, Sarva Nama Rupa Prasarana, these different names and forms are scattered, are projected. Just as on water, a big ocean, not ocean but ripples and forms and waves and everything is seen. If you inspect, if you look into that thing called wave, it is nothing but water. If you look into that ripple, it is nothing but water. Similarly, on this entire creation, if you look into its tattva, it is nothing but Brahman. So upon this Brahman the creation is projected. Just as on water the waves and the ripples and form are projected, it is nothing but like that. What you call creation is manifestation of names and forms upon the reality called Brahman, upon the reality called Satchit Ananda. The Satchit Ananda appearing as this creation. Satchit Ananda only appears as this creation, just as water appears as waves, etc. So the same thing is explained, but in a more, what shall we say, in a more in such a manner that we can grasp the meaning. So author will be getting into this more. So we'll see this next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.